Yes, we're back on the air, way out there on GJRB Online, on Spreaker, across America and around the world. Yeah, back here where it's all happening. And you see on your Spreaker site there, something I'm doing here, something that I thought was really interesting. Now, as you will know, I used to always do part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, part 5, whatever. You know, and I'm going, okay, why don't we match each part with the hour that we're broadcasting? We're in part 3, which is the 3 o'clock hour. And since that's the case, when I go to part 4, it'll be after the 4 o'clock hour. See? And then part 5 will be after the 5 o'clock hour. So when past the 4:30 break, we'll have it 4.5, 4_5. That means that this is the half-hour part of part 3, or hour 3. So I kind of made this a little different, and I think it kind of makes it easier to designate the part of the program that maybe I want to check out and listen to, or if something interesting happens in this half hour and I want to kind of go back and remember it by replaying it, I could go into the show and find it. You know, real easy like. And I thought, well, here's a way to do it. You know what I mean? So this is what I'm doing. So check it out. I think it's kind of a neat idea. Really do. I think this will work, and it gives me a chance to identify what half-hour part of the program I'm at. You know what I mean? And it makes it that easy. I like the idea. So, what do you think about it?
Ladies and gentlemen, the bit of a show.
Yeah. So what do you think about that? I think it's a neat idea. So we're going to do part of that idea. We just have to do is get in on the program and be part of the show and get in the chat room and all that good stuff. 563-613-4260. Or that's our cell number. Or you just want to contact me in the chat room and talk to me there. Or you can just listen on Twitter and Google Plus. And I am way overdue for the ill-fated, and you know what we talk about, scroll through social media, which we're going to do in a couple hours. And we're also going to do is visit Linda Moulton Howell's Earth Files coming up, because I have an interesting story. It's a 3-parter. Might not get it done on this show. I'm going to try to, but I might not get it done on this show. But it's real good. It's real interesting. What it is it's a story about the 1941 Cape Girardeau, Missouri, a similar type crash of a UFO, which happened there in 1941, just 7 years or so, 7 years or so before the 1947 crash. About 6 years before the 1947 crash in Roswell, New Mexico. And we're going to talk about that. It's a 3-parter, and I'm going to probably kind of split that between this and the next way out there. The next way out there we got coming up will be, let me see, I got it written here somewhere in my schedule. I'm going to pop in there. Okay. Next way out there. Okay. Next way out there will be on Friday, March 18th. Friday, March 18th, 2 o'clock Central, right here on GJRB Online, and we'll finish it. So it's going to be a multi-part series. Linda Moulton Howe interview about a 1941 crash that happened at Roswell. This is before. It's 6 years before. Imagine this is 6 years before Roswell. 6 years before, when there was another UFO crash. We're going to talk about that coming up. All right, stay with me for that. Also coming up, we're going to talk. We're going to do Strange But True. and we're going to get into that. So I thought we'd do that. Always fun to do that part. Strange but true. And we're going to do that. So let's see here. Now it's time for Strange but True. Those stories of unusual happenings that can't be explained. Now, Strange but True. Way out there. Alright, yeah, Strange but True. Way out there here on GJRB Online on Spreaker. And what a great way to have a Friday afternoon just talking about some of these strange, unusual stories. First one was the one I was talking about earlier, and I think it's a real interesting. It's a story about a guy. They found this guy on this boat, mummified type body, right? Now, try to explain this, okay? Mummified body was found on this boat. This is a derelict boat, ghost ship per se, and the story behind it was very, very fascinating. And check this out. They found this. This is just it's coming up here in just a couple of minutes, and it's just a weird story, and it's coming up right now. I'm going to get to it here in a couple of seconds. A mummified body found on this derelict boat, and a real fascinating story behind it. How this man's body was actually preserved. Check this out.
A missing German adventurer who has not been heard from for 7 years has just been found mummified on his yacht that has just been drifting around the globe. What happened to 59-year-old Manfred Fritz Badgerat? Let's delve into the mystery and try and find out. His body was discovered by two fishermen over the weekend of February 27, 2016. His yacht called the Sayo was drifting near the coast of the Philippines Barabo town in Sergia del Sur. His body was decomposing yet surprisingly well preserved, and it was propped up right next to his radio. That's where he died. It is unclear when he died, but he has not been spotted since 2009. But a friend said that he had gotten a Facebook birthday message from him in 2015. And authorities do not believe that the yacht shows signs of having been drifting for 7 years. The fishermen took note of this yacht because it just seemed to be wandering without a course and had a destroyed sail. A friend of Mr. Badgerat told the German newspaper The Bild he was a very experienced sailor. I don't believe he would have sailed into a storm. I believe the mast broke after Manfred was already dead. As to why the body was in such good condition, well, it appears to have been preserved by the hot temperatures, the ocean winds, and just the salt all around him. He has been taken to Bhutan City for an autopsy. The way he is sitting seems to indicate that death was unexpected, perhaps from a heart attack. Police say there is no evidence of a second person on the yacht and no obvious weapons on board. Manfred was an experienced adventurer and had been traveling around the globe for 20 years. They are currently trying to trace his path on this latest adventure and find any of the people he spoke to recently, and also trying to trace his relatives. He had been separated from his wife in 2008, who he used to travel with, and she later died of cancer. So is it possible that no one was looking for this wayward adventurer? It seems that there was no foul play involved, and this was just a death of unfortunate circumstance. Even if you are a seasoned adventurer and sailor, always make sure that people know where you are, that you can be contacted with a phone, put a GPS on your yacht, just do all the things, because you never know what's going to happen.
Strange
Hopefully they
mystery.
can trace his relatives and they can finally discover what happened to this wayward adventurer. I'm Sasha Wood. Thanks so much.
Fascinating. Well, like I said before, that yeah, if you have a boat, you do this kind of stuff, be wary and let people know where you're at, because more than likely, if you were sailed adrift out to sea like that, especially this guy who had a heart attack of some sorts, you have to wonder about that one. Coming up, I got this story about these five mythical creatures that they believe could be actually exist. I'm going to talk about that one. That's a real good one. And I'm going to do that here in a couple of minutes, but I'm going to flip over to another story here. Okay, I'm going to go here and press OK. Oh, you. Okay, let's try that again. Alright. Okay, let's see if we get to the next one. Hoping I do. Aha, here we go. This is part 1 on that strange. This is going to be a multi-part series, folks, too. Check this out. We're going to see if we can fit it in on this one. Check this out. This is the strange story about that shit, about that spacecraft, or the strange radio noises. Check this out. This is pretty bizarre, man. Right now, on way out there.
Apollo 10 enters lunar orbit. As they pass around the far side of the moon, the astronauts lose all contact with Earth.
It's about an hour on the backside of the moon, away from Earth, where you lose radio contact.
During this hour, the astronauts are on their own. No one on Earth can see or hear them. When they merge, they seem to have survived their voyage around the far side unscathed.
Houston, you can tell the world that we have arrived.
As far as anyone on Earth knows, this mission is going like clockwork. Everything according to plan. There's nothing irregular going on at all.
But nearly 4 decades later, lost recordings emerged revealing an unsettling incident on the far side of the moon.
There are recorders that record whatever's going on the backside, and then you do a data dump when you come around the front side, and Houston or Mission Control then can see what happened when you were around the backside.
After the NASA astronauts returned to Earth,
Roger, Houston, we are returning to the Earth. Over.
NASA transcribes the tapes, then buries them in the archives without comment.
These conversations are recorded in the transcripts, but those transcripts were classified.
NASA would withhold information from the public if they thought it was in the public's best interest.
Even after declassification, the transcripts lay undiscovered in the NASA archives until 2008.
Finding record of this conversation is like finding a needle in a haystack. It takes years to come to light.
The tapes contain recordings of strange otherworldly music coming through the Apollo module's radio. The conversations that follow the sounds makes it clear they are unlike anything the astronauts have ever heard.
That music even sounds outer spacey, doesn't it? You hear that whistling sound?
In their headsets, it sounded like a woo-woo kind of a noise.
Sounds like, outer space-time music.
If I were to hear something back there, the first thing probably would freak me out.
Well, that sure is weird music.
Over the course of an hour, they mention it multiple times. This is not just some anomaly. This is something that they're all really hearing, and it's really weird.
Fascinating. Yeah. How about that? Weird sounds from space. Now, if you imagine hearing this thing, I guess that would that just like freak you out? Wow. It was a weird sound. I don't know where it's coming from. But it was coming over the ship's radio. And in part 2, they're going to talk about how when they come back around and they get back into contact with Mission Control, and they ask the question, what do we do about this noise? What do they do about this, what we're hearing in our headphones? How do we report this? Fascinating. Coming up. Stay with me. All right, meanwhile, you're listening to Way Out There on GJRB Alliance, taking the weather on the 5s. And see what's going on nationwide. Under nationwide weather, let's pick a couple more cities like Boston, You guys are going to have snow today. 35 degrees, nighttime low will be 25. Sunny tomorrow, high 37, nighttime low 28. Burlington, Vermont, mostly cloudy, 27 degrees for nighttime for today, 10 tonight. You guys in Burlington, Vermont are going to be freezing. Partly cloudy tonight, 29 degrees. I think they're under after that midst of that winter storm they had. So I'm wondering if that was part of it. Charleston, South Carolina, mostly cloudy predicted today, high 59, nighttime low 40. Sunny tomorrow, high 65, with a nighttime low of 44. Chattanooga, Tennessee, mostly cloudy, high 51 predicted today, nighttime low 34. Partly cloudy tomorrow with a high of 64, nighttime low 38. Cincinnati, Ohio, 42, mostly cloudy, 42, nighttime low 31. Cloudy and 46 degrees predicted. 46 degrees tomorrow and nighttime low 31. And that's a look at weather on the fives on Way Out There. As you know, as we do here, and on the Gary Russell program as well. Weather on the fives at either 5. And usually we do it like 25, let's say 25 or 55 minutes past every hour on GJRB. I kind of was doing it 05, 5, 15, 25, kind of shuffling around, but I'm at a niche, okay? So the niche is weather on the fives at 25 minutes past the hour, and again at 55 minutes past the hour, 5 minutes to the hour. So we do it that way. Weather on the fives, just ahead of a newscast, and I think that's the best way to do it. Weather on the fives on GJRB here on Spreaker. Here Jay Russell with you. Hope you're enjoying the program wherever you may be across America and around the world. Going to be taking another program break, and then when we get back on the other side, I have some more good stuff to bring you as we continue talking about the weird, the strange, and the bizarre here on Way Out There on GJRB. Hope you're enjoying the program. Got more to come. So stay with me. We're going to do that Linda Moulton Howell Earth Files. We're going to scroll through social media in the last hour and a half, and we're going to do non-stop talk. Back to back, no interruptions, no news breaks, just non-stop talk between 4:35 and 5:30 right here on Way Out There. Hang in there, more to come. Recently we lost Robin Williams, an outstanding comedian who suffered a great deal. Let's make sure that suicides like this won't happen to anyone close to us. If you know anybody who may be depressed and are suffering like Robin Williams did, get them help. Call this number, 1-800-273-8255. That's the number of the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. The call is free and confidential and will be answered by a trained counselor at a local crisis center. The National Suicide Prevention Lifeline can help. It's that time of year once again. Spring. That's when the weather gets warm and the flowers bloom, and GJRB is starting new programs and bringing back older ones that haven't been on for a while. It's the GJRB Spring Spectacular. All new programs and old ones returning, like Radioland, Gary J's Radio and Television Classics under a new name. Radio, television, and movie classics featuring not just radio and television broadcast rarities, but also intermissions from drive-in movie theaters and indoor theaters too. Old movie trailers and movie trivia. The Spring Spectacular also made the return of the blues with Gary J's Blues House and country bluegrass with Bluegrass Jubilee. New additions to the Gary Russell program, including The Man on the Street, as I take my voice recorder to the streets of Clinton and ask people their opinions on what's going on in the news and lighter fun stuff. GJRB Spring Spectacular starts April 19th on GJRB Online. This is GJRB Online on low-powered FM, 87.7 KGRB LP FM, Clinton.